Hello everyone, Lewis from Balance Integrative Health and Bodywork. In this video, I'm taking you through a full routine for the lower body. It's a self-myofascial release routine. I personally use this to keep my body in a state of balance and maintenance in between bodywork sessions that I have. I also utilize it after workouts and on any days where I'm doing lots of vigorous activities. So what is self-myofascial release? It simply means that we're using a tool, such as a foam roller, on a particular area on our body with slow and sustained pressure over time, and that results in a yielding or easing of tissue. And that for you could result in decreased pain, more movement in a particular area, more length, more awareness, or a feeling of well-being in the body as well. It can be very cathartic on the body, easing tissue. And what is myofascial? Myo simply means muscle, and fascial means fascia, which is it's the connective tissue of our body and a part of the connective tissue system. Okay, let's talk about tools we're going to be using. In this video, I utilize a foam roller. You can pick up a foam roller from Kmart if you're in Australia, or easily one online. We're also going to be using a smooth ball. This could be a tennis ball or a firm ball like a soft ball. You want to pick a ball that's comfortable. If you've not done self-myofascial release before, you always want to start softer before going firmer. And then lastly, this is a bonus. It's the very last technique we'll utilize in the video. It's a soft prickly ball. I sell these in clinic, but I've also found them in Kmart in the baby section, or again, you can find them online. In terms of how many times should you do this, as I mentioned at the start of this video, you can do it after workouts, on days where you're doing lots of vigorous activity, or you can do it as many days as you like, as long as you're not coming across areas in the body that feel bruised or overly tender. So maybe you could do it every second day or every couple of days. Just listen to your body. Lastly, I just want to point out, when we're doing self-myofascial release, we don't want to be doing it on areas such as bone or any areas that give us sharp, searing pain, nerve-like pain, or push back at us, meaning there's a pulse. We want to come off those areas immediately. We're just working over the top of soft tissue, and it should feel slightly uncomfortable, but also slightly pleasurable too. It's a nice, happy medium. Okay, everyone, let's jump right into it here. We're going to be starting with a smooth ball under the feet. I'm going to be starting my right foot. I'm just setting the timer for 1 minute. The ball is just placed on the front edge of my heel, and I'll let it roll forward to the pad of my foot, covering the ball of the first 5 toes, and then back down to the heel. This will give you a sense of the whole foot, and were there any tender areas that maybe had your attention, because that's what we're looking for here. And you just let your weight come down on those points, and it's just nice, slow, sustained pressure. Over time, this helps the tissue yield or ease. You can add movement, so I'm just doing a little bit of side to side, forwards and backwards. You can even do a little bit of a stretch too. So as you've got that sustained pressure over the ball, you can flex and extend your toes, and that will give you a different feeling as well. So the fun part about myofascial release is you get to be really intuitive. Okay, we're just going to swap to the left side now. And with that, you'll find that, each side will respond very differently. I remember that on the left side, I did a lot more movement. So the tissue on my left side responded more with movement. One thing I do want to get across here in this whole routine is you don't want to do forceful pressure. You're just looking for slow and sustained pressure, because if you're forcing your weight or being forceful, then the tissue will meet that. So if you meet it with a more relaxed, eased, and just allowing your body weight to melt over that ball, you're going to get better results. And that's the same in clinical practice when I'm working with clients too. So no pain, no gain is not really applicable here. Although it might feel a little bit painful, but it's that kind of hedonic point where it feels kind of good but slightly painful. Okay, so we're going to be starting with the calves now. Again, we'll come back to the right side. I'm going to move it down a little bit lower in a moment. There we go. And then I'll just let the ball start to come towards my knee. Again, just like the foot, I just want to get a whole sense of the calf and just look for any areas that maybe just need some easing. Looks like I found a nice spot here. If you find that you're not getting enough pressure, you can just simply pop the other leg over the top. That will create a bit more pressure. But it's always good to start out with just the main leg first. And again, just being intuitive, you can come forwards, backwards, or just do as I'm doing, just letting the weight come down on that spot, letting it ease. Okay, that's time. Now we're going to swap onto the left calf area. You can go quite lower, more just above the ankle, but really we're just focusing on the calves here, and the bulk of the muscle is pretty much right where the ball is, and then just comes further up towards the knees. On this side, you'll see again, the left side loves its movement. I'm just flexing the foot up and then taking it down. This is more of that pin and stretch, so it just has a different feel. And I'm just adding a bit more weight. If you find that 1 minute's not enough time, by all means, please just pause the video and go a little bit longer. There were definitely some parts when I shot this video that I wanted to spend more time on, so please do the same. Okay, that's time. Now we're going to be changing tools here. We're going to be using a foam roller, or roller if you have one, and we're just starting with the hamstrings now. You'll notice that I just come about a palm space above the knee. It's a highly sort of innervated and sensitive area, so you want to be a little bit further above. And then as I start from there, I simply roll up just to the edge of my bum, and just looking for any areas that have my attention. And for most of you, and even myself, just on the edge of my bum where the hamstrings come up and attach, that spot was really quite tender, and it was great just having the roller there. Now this is where you can also be really creative as you're rolling on the whole hamstrings, is you can rotate your leg inwards and outwards, or you can even flex the foot up and down again. But I found by letting my leg come outwards and then inwards, I can get just different angles of the hamstrings rather than just rolling back and forth over them. Okay, we're just swapping sides to the left now. Again, I'm just coming up, just getting a sense of the whole hamstring. It actually is interesting watching this video. I'm doing a lot of movement on the left side, so that's interesting for me. So I'm just coming backwards and forwards here, and now I'm rotating the leg inwards and outwards, just getting different fibers of the hamstring. And again, you just want to be slow. Like, you'll see so many people in gyms or just in all sorts of environments whenever they're using foam rollers, and they're going so quick but you're not really going to be doing much going that quick. You really want to do this kind of slow approach to get better results. Okay, now let's come to the glutes. I like to just angle it a little bit, and then I pop we're doing the right side, so my right leg comes over on top of the left knee. So it's just as if you were doing a glute stretch, but you're adding the foam roller underneath, which is awesome because you're getting a stretch on the tissue and you're also easing it at the same time. So if you're a person that's got some of the symptoms of sciatica, then this is great because a lot of you already be stretching this area. You can add the foam rolling in because you're stretching it, but you're also easing it. I find a lot of clients with the sciatic symptoms, sometimes if it's more related to the piriformis, that tissue is generally not shortened, but it's long and it needs easing. So doing the foam rolling on it is a great way to ease it and settle it down. And again, I'm doing a little bit of side to side. I did start with sustained pressure. Okay, now let's swap to the left side. Left leg comes onto the right knee. And we're just coming a little bit of side to side here. And again, use this routine as a template. I want you to play around and make your own approaches up as well. You know, you can share techniques with me as well. Okay, that's time. So now we're going to come back to the smooth ball and we're going to do one of my favorites. I wanted to point this out as well. You'll see I'm putting my hand in my pocket there in front of my hip. So that's really the area of the muscle we want to focus on. This is your TFL, tensor fascia lata. It's a muscular portion of the IT band. And it's an area I commonly treat in clinic. And if you're watching this video, I've probably treated your TFL and you know this one very well. It's always very, very tender. And I actually quite love doing this one on myself. So I'm having a ball there and I'm just letting my weight sink down on that ball. I think this was one of the ones where I wanted to spend more time, more than a minute. So if you're finding that, please spend a bit of time. I wouldn't probably go any longer than 5 minutes. That's probably pretty extreme, but 2 to 3 minutes is great. Again, you're just looking for that sense of the tissue's eased, and we're just going to swap to the left side now. Or you're just waiting until that tender feeling or that painful feeling is no longer there. And then you simply just move and find another point. If it all feels really great, then you can just move on to the next area. And you don't want to be massaging your hip bone. We don't want to be massaging bone. It's simply the soft tissue. It's also worth pointing out that you don't want to be, if you're feeling a pulse, something's pushing back you need to get off that area too. Any kind of searing pain, anything like that, just move off. It should feel, as I said, it's a nice mix between pleasure and pain. You'll see here I'm adding a little bit of movement too. I'm just moving the lower leg, just gives that little bit of a stretch, so you can play with that too if you like. Okay, that's time. Now we're going to be coming back with the roller, and we're going to be doing the quads. Just getting set up. So again, starting on the right leg, I'm just coming just above the knee, and then I'm slowly rolling down along the tissue. Just feeling for any areas that have my attention, and for me especially, all of my quads had my attention. This was another one where I wanted to spend more time on. And again, you can just play around like we did with the hamstrings. You can roll the leg inwards and outwards just to get different parts of the quadriceps group. Or you can just do a little pin and stretch as I did, where you let the back heel come towards your bum. Just as if you were doing that stretch in standing. And I want to point out, maybe when I swap sides, I'll point it out. A lot of people roll the IT band, but we've been a lot smarter. We've worked the TFL before, but what you can do is when you're doing the quads, you can just come out to the side a little bit. So you're not on the IT band as such, but you're just on the edge of it, so where the quads meet the IT band. And if you roll along that is what you want to focus on, because that will be, you can see I'm just rolling onto the side now, just getting that edge of the IT band and quads, because that area is often an area I treat in clinic, and for a lot of people those two structures are kind of bound together. So by just easing along that can be really profound for people. You don't really get much results from rolling the IT band itself. It just feels really good, but if you just do the edges like I'm doing here, and then also in the TFL, oh my God, you're going to have a lot more ease in your legs. So that was the quads done. Now we're going to do an area not often treated in clinic and missed when people are foam rolling, is your adductors, your inner thigh muscles. So you can see I'm just coming out, and I guess a frog leg. If you do Pilates, it's sort of that frog leg position. So letting my leg flare out to the side, and then I just put the roller along my inner thigh, and then I'm just rolling up, and then just exploring what we always do. So every time we come to a new area, we just do one initial roll up or down, just to get a sense of the area. And I'm just doing sustained pressure on this side with a little bit of movement. And the adductors are sorely missed in treatment, and also when people are foam rolling, and this is a common area that can influence knee pain. So if you're getting some knee pain, it's a great area to focus on. Okay, coming on to the left side now. And just getting a sense of the whole inner thigh. And you can see we've covered the back, the front, and now the inner. So it's great coverage of the lower legs. This is good to work on your planking as well. And again, I'm just sort of, again on this left side, doing a lot more movement. That's really interesting to me. My right side is my stubborn side in my body. It doesn't like to move much. So even when I'm doing myofascial release work, it's still the same as well. Whereas the left loves to move. There's a lesson there for me. And I'm thinking I've gone over a minute on here because this is where I was like, okay, I want to spend a bit more time. So again, a reminder to you, if you feel that way, please pause the video. Okay. So I wasn't going to include this one, but I really thought I had to because so many people have issues in the front of their shins. And again, another area that gets missed in treatment in clinic. So what we do here is I'm sitting on top of the foam roller. It's not my bone. I've rolled my leg inwards so it's the side. So I'm just getting the shin muscle. If you want to know exactly what muscle, it's the tibialis anterior. And this is you shouldn't be. This is one of those ones I really want to highlight. You shouldn't be on the bone. I'm just on the outside, so I'm just only on the muscle, and I'm doing my initial roll, just getting a sense of the shin and what areas have my attention. But this one is awesome. If you're getting tight calves, a lot of the time it's because the front of the lower leg or the tibialis anterior is quite contracted, so it needs to be eased. So this one might be surprising to you, will help with your calf pain as well. Okay, we're just swapping sides, coming to the left side now. And you'll see I just let that leg sort of rotate just inwards a bit, so I'm off the bone. Allow my weight to come onto the roller. Just do my initial roll, get a sense of the leg. Looks like I found a nice spot there. And somehow it looks like I've swapped sides. I'm on the right side here. Changing it up. So sorry if I threw you off there by swapping sides. Okay, that's time. So again, I just want to point out that's the tib anterior I'm coming across. Okay, now to integrate everything we've done a lot of work on the front and the back. This is a great way just to feel grounded in the lower body and really get a sense of the feet and how they support your body. So you want to use soft prickly balls. We sell them in clinic, but I have seen them at Kmart in the proprioceptive baby aisle. I bought some there as well, so you can hunt around for them, but I do sell them in Fremantle Clinic from time to time. I'm standing on top of them on my heels, and then you just saw I was just doing some knee bends. I was just doing that for a little bit of movement. And again, now I'm coming to the front pads of my foot, and then I'm just doing a little bit of movement here again. Just allowing my weight to come into the prickly balls is what I'm aiming for. But you don't have to move. I think I even play around a little bit here and let my whole body come forward in a moment. Yeah, there I go. So I'm just leaning forwards and backwards, using the recoil from the balls to come back onto my heels. And then when you remove the balls, you'll just have this really amazing sense of your feet. You feel quite strong and grounded, and it really connects all the work we've done.